What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Wrestlemania 22 over here on the side here. As you can tell, this is the 22nd edition of Wrestlemania on my 39 Wrestlemanias and 39 days. We are well into the second half of this now. These are the last few WrestleManias that I watched live. I believe the very last one that I watched was 28. I believe was the last one that I watched live for a while. Whichever one was Shawn Michaels' retirement match, which I believe was 27 or 28. Can't remember which one, but might have been 27 actually. Was the last one I watched live. So we're coming along the stretch that I was actually watching wrestling in. This was the first Mania, April 2nd, 2006. It was the first Mania after Eddie Guerrero had passed away. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame this night. Was accepted by his wife, his widow, Vicky Guerrero. Honestly, it really sucks that I only got to review a handful of his matches. Obviously, he did a lot more than just WrestleMania, of course, but given that we're focusing strictly on the WrestleMania, I unfortunately only got to see a handful of his matches, but they were all very, very good. And of course, I've also watched a lot of his stuff in other places as well. But we're going to go ahead and get this show on the road here. As you can tell, we have our rating systems up, 10 through 0. By now, most of you guys probably all know this, but if this is your first review, 10 through 9 is an A, 8 and 7 is a B, 6 through 4 is a C, 3 and 2 is a D, 1 and 0 is an F. My friend Rob also watches all of these and reviews them with me. His ratings are on the side there. And of course, the title card is up at the top. We're going to kick things off with Kane and Big Show versus Carlito and Chris Masters. Sorry, my phone autocorrected that to Carlton for some reason. Carlito and Chris Masters for the World Tag Team titles. Honestly, a bit of a one-sided affair for most of this, which is really unfortunate for a WrestleMania match. It really was, I guess this was just designed to make Kane and Big Show look like dominant champions, but they already had the titles coming into this. They won, but they already had the titles, so you'd already established them as a threat. They're the champions. So I didn't completely understand the reason for a one-sided affair. Chris Masters really wasn't given much to do, but I will say Carlito and Kane looked amazing. They had excellent chemistry in this match. Carlito definitely shined, but then again, Chris Masters really only had one thing, and that was the Master Lock, and you're not putting that on Kane or Big Show, no matter how big you are. So, didn't really have much to do here. I thought Carlito excelled. Ending was a bit of a standard finish. Masters got up the top rope, accidentally hit Carlito in the back. That set up a rivalry between the two of them going forward. Carlito got chokeslammed and boom, match is over. I gave this match a 5 out of 10. Rob gave it a 4. Didn't quite like it much at all. Again, it really wasn't much to it, but obviously it'll be a 4.5 averaged out, and we always round up, so it'll round up to a 5. Next up, we have the Money in the Bank, the second Money in the Bank match between RVD, Bobby Lashley, Finlay, Matt Hardy, Ric Flair, and Shelton Benjamin. RVD would go on to win the second edition. Ric Flair being in this match is pretty goddamn insane. Ric Flair taking the bump of the match is even crazier. Matt Hardy hits him with a superplex off the ladder, which causes him to basically leave the match temporarily. He kind of like, oh, well, there we go. Ric Flair got his bump in and he's gone. He did come back to hit one more good spot with the shillelagh off the dome, falling off the ladder. It was a great way to keep him from getting injured in the match, while also letting him get some offense in, and also just let him kind of show off that he still had a little bit left in the tank here. I thought RVD winning was what the crowd wanted. They were extremely hot for him. They've always been hot for him, no matter what. I thought Bobby Lashley was kind of the weak spot in this match. He didn't really do a whole lot, which unfortunately is kind of a trend for Bobby Lashley a lot of times. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not a huge fan of him now. Which, by the way, can we just say, this was, 18 years ago, and the man hasn't aged a day. I will give Bobby Lashley credit. That man's genes are fantastic. He doesn't age. I think he's gotten bigger since then. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's been relatively clean. I don't think he's had any steroid accusations much. which is odd for a man that size, but typically you can tell when someone's on steroids. They're really big and then they get small, or they're small and they get big. They don't usually stay the same size or gradually get bigger in 18 years. So I'm pretty sure he's clean. Again, steroids are rampant, so it's hard to say, but I think he's been relatively clean, which is an even bigger insanity to me for his longevity. But he is showing no signs of stopping down now. But unfortunately for this match, never really got going. I thought Matt Hardy was great. Shelton was good. Not quite as good as his last Money in the Bank match. I thought he was a star in the last one. Wasn't quite as good in this one. I thought this was a very good ladder match. I don't think it was as good as the first one. I gave it a 7 out of 10, which is still a B. Rob agrees, gave this match a B as well, so a 7 is where the second Money in the Bank ladder match is going to go. Next up, we have JBL versus Chris Benoit for the United States title. JBL with another repetitive sleepwalk match. Again, I said it in the last review, I don't understand what it is with JBL and a refusal to show up at WrestleMania. It's epidemic at this point. It doesn't get better. It hasn't been good ever since. Unfortunately, Chris Benoit tries to carry this, but he can't. This is the WrestleMania after Eddie Guerrero died, and JBL imitates Eddie Guerrero 4 times. It's like the first time you got the heat off it. Second time, all right, buddy. The third and fourth time, Jesus Christ, man! Like, do you only have? Do they give you a 5-move script and say repeat this until the match ends? Like, I don't understand. He repeats the same moves over. He doesn't do anything spectacular. Chris Benoit tries to carry it. JBL is just, maybe it's just me. If you're a fan of JBL, I'd love to know how. I'd love to know why. I mean, he's put on some good matches, but JBL has never interested me. He has bored me in every match he's been in. I gave this match a 4 out of 10. JBL had a cheat to win the ruin Benoit's dedicated match to Eddie Guerrero. He didn't deserve the win. And cheap heat is cheap heat, which, I mean, normally I'm fine with, but this match was just bad. Rob thought it was a little bit better than I did. He gave it a C. So maybe Rob isn't quite as bored of JBL as I am. But again, just like the previous match where I gave it a 5 and he gave it a 4, roles are going to reverse here. It's going to go up to a 5 because of that 4.5 rule. Next up, we have Edge versus Mick Foley in a hardcore match. Edge wins. This match is an all-time classic, and like all all-time classics, or at least most of them, unless there's more than one in a match, I love discussing these with Rob. He's been a big Mick Foley fan as well as a big Edge fan. I love this match. He loved this match. So let's go talk to him about it in today's match review. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the match review here for WrestleMania 22. I am here with Rob, Tito.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, indeed. We are here with Mick Foley versus Edge. Originally I decided to do the Mick Foley and Terry Funk tag match a little while ago because I wasn't sure if I was going to have a Mick Foley match to review. Completely forgot this match existed until I was going back through these. And then I remembered this match is a fucking banger. I gave this match a 10 out of 10, so it really doesn't matter what you gave it. But
so would you say that on the day that you rewatched this, you saw it clearly?
I'm so sick of you.
Everything has come to life?
I've done 22 of these with him, and I have to do another 17 more, and I might lose my fucking mind before it's
you just got to leave it all behind.
I swear to God, you think you know me.
Listen, it's real to me, damn it.
You think you know me. So, as you know, with this match here, obviously this is Mick Foley versus Edge. It's a hardcore match. The real stipulation is literally the fact that Mick Foley has never had a true, what he would call a WrestleMania defining moment. He's had moments that his entire career, never had that WrestleMania moment. Edge promised to give him one, and god damn it, he did with this shot almost by itself. But every single moment of this match was phenomenal. Him coming out with the barbed wire waist belt, wrestling in that for like 4 minutes. He wrestled in that for 4 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I kept wondering why he kept grabbing his ribs, even though he wasn't getting hit there. But that's because he had barbed wire around his waist and was sticking in him the entire fucking time he was wrestling this match.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming at all.
Nope.
The Socko wrapped in barbed wire that he shoved in both his mouth, Edge's mouth, and Lita's. Is it the Socko part or the fact that it was barbed?
The Socko.
Oh, okay. But the fact that he just like really just stuck that entire sock down their throats, and the blood and stuff that produced from it is completely irrelevant. It's the sock that's important. And of course, Barbie, the barbed wire bat, the iconic spear into the flaming table. Is it too much to say this is the best hardcore match of all time? And I know that's saying a lot because Terry Funk is the best, but a lot of hardcore matches fall into this trope of unbridled chaos with no true meaning. This was chaos with a specific meaning, and that is being a highlight for McFoley. And putting McFoley in a specific situation, whereas one of these spots is going to be talked about forever.
I would agree. I would agree. I
can't think of a hardcore match that has a purpose like this.
The only one I can really think of is RVD versus Jeff Hardy, because that I think that was on just like a SmackDown or something, maybe a Raw, but that match was good. And then I remember like Spike Dudley coming out or something along that.
Oh, they're good, but never to this caliber. I mean, these guys.
No.
I mean, the thumbtack spot, the barbed wire spots, the flaming table, the chair shots, the stairs, that everything.
Yeah,
worked in this match.
I had a moment because I did notice Foley still grabbing his ribs and stuff, and I kept wondering why he was doing that, like you said. And then Edge speared him and then immediately started gushing blood everywhere. And I was like, what's going on? And I thought when Edge hit the spear, that was like the intro moment of like him hurting his neck, kind of thing. And that's why I thought he was screaming, but that wasn't the case. And I see him bleeding everywhere, and I'm like, something's wrong. And then all of a sudden, I see the barbed wire, and I'm like, Mick Foley, you fucking dog.
It was a great spot.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was just genius. And the fact that he wrestled with it for like the first 4 minutes is even better. Do you know the story of why Joey Styles was there? I mean, obviously, I know Mick Foley has a impact from ECW and whatnot, but why was Joey Styles there? Leave a comment, because I don't know. He wasn't in the match though.
He was on commentary.
Oh, it's because it was ECW. He was the ECW guy, so he was here for the hardcore.
No, I get that. I get the relationship between Joey Styles and Mick Foley, but did they just bring Joey in for this one-off match?
Yes. Did you not?
That's why I'm asking.
Do you just skip everything and just go straight to the match? Do you watch any of the entrances and the pre-match stuff when you do these?
No.
They explain it in the pre-match stuff.
Okay, you're right.
It's because it's a hardcore match. They're doing ECW was just bought by them because the next year is when they bring ECW in, and Joey Styles was the ECW commentator. WrestleMania 23 is the first year ECW was in WWE.
What? Oh.
We've literally watched like 3 more WrestleManias past this.
Disclaimer. I've said in maybe like 4 WrestleManias ago, I'm really only watching it for the matches and not really the story unless I already know the story.
You've also taken more concussions to some wrestlers, and your short-term memory is not the best either.
I've only had 2, bitch.
Regardless, the second part's still true. As this match as a whole, though, Absolutely legendary match. Talked about forever. Mick Foley got his moment. And yeah, this is a highlight of his career, and it's a highlight of this event, and that's pretty much all there is to say about that. Any further comments from you?
Yeah, I think the delayed Joey Styles, oh my god, was a good moment. It served its purpose. But I feel like the internet wrestling community thinks that he's like this anomaly for that phrase and how he says it and when he says it. And I just think it's a little overrated, but I thought it fit this very well.
Understandable. Iconic call that you just weren't 100% a fan of. Makes
Pretty
sense.
much.
Always happens. Back to me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and Rob there. Again, we both gave it an A. I gave it a 10. I'm pretty sure Rob gave it a 10 as well, even though it only says an A on there. But again, generally, when Rob gives a match an A, it kind of depends on what I gave it, whether it be a 10 or a 9, because he doesn't really do a lot of A pluses or A minuses. It's usually just an A for him. We were kind of discussing that the other day, so that's just kind of how he plays it. So because I gave it a 10, it's going to be a 10. That's where it's going to go. Next up we have Boogeyman versus King Booker in Sharmell. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate it. I despise it. It was disgusting. The Boogeyman disgusts me. Alright, I love this character. It's scary. It was spooky as a kid. God, I fucking hated this match, man. Like, I physically felt ill when he fed Sharmell the worms. Just, oh God. The match wasn't even good. Booker got the short end of another WrestleMania. Rob gave it a D-. I gave it a 1. It's going to go at the D-. It's going to stick with a 2 because of that 0.5 rule. But, God, it's just fucking hideous. I don't even have any more notes on that. Next up, we have Mickie James versus Trish Stratus for the WWE Women's title. Mickie James would go on to win. So, listen. Something I don't talk about very often because it's irrelevant now because, unfortunately, my aunt and her cousin divorced. But there was actually a time where I actually was related to Mickie James by marriage. My aunt was married to her cousin. His name is Chuck. They are Native American. And I've actually been to her house. I wish I had the photo, unfortunately. It's on my aunt's old computer. I think she still has a hard drive somewhere, but I'll be honest, I don't feel like calling her up and say, hey, do you remember your divorce? Could you go back through the photos of that and find the one where I took the picture holding the women's championship next to her? Because I don't think that would go over well with my aunt. So whether you want to believe it or not, completely irrelevant to me, but I have actually been to her house. There is a picture of me somewhere on someone's computer of me holding the women's title shortly after this WrestleMania. So that is a really big kind of like another reason why I was super into wrestling because of Mickie. I loved seeing her on TV. She was dating Kenny of the Kenny's of the Kenny of the Kenny squad of the oh my god. Vince McMahon's group, the Spirit Squad. Jesus, I couldn't think of the name. But she was dating Kenny Dykstra from the Spirit Squad at the time. So I met him in person. I've gone to a cookout at their house. It was really cool. It's probably one of the highlight memories of my childhood, which is, again, why I love wrestling so much. Unfortunately, me and Mickie never really kept up. I was a child at this point. I was like 13, 12? I think I was 12 at this time. So I was a kid. She probably doesn't even remember me because we haven't really seen each other in well over 15, 16 years. But I can say that we were related by marriage at one point. So I am admittedly biased towards this match. But it was still a fantastic match. I mean, there's no denying the match was really good. Rob did give it a C. Wasn't quite as impressed by it as I was. I tried to grade this match as unbiasedly as I possibly could, and I still thought it was a fantastic match. I thought it was a great story. Her obsessiveness over Trish, it was a unique story. You see it a little bit more in wrestling now, but this was just a really good match. I gave it a 7. I thought absolutely devastating moves to Trish's knee. It made it so the finish seemed like a minor botch. Obviously, Mickey beat her with her own move, the chick kick. Trish seemed to like fall before she actually hit it, but she also fell on the knee she was selling. So I thought that it might have just been her selling the knee a little bit too much and making it so it was a bit of an awkward finish. But I still felt it worked because she had been selling that knee injury the entire match. So I gave this match a 7 out of 10. I thought it was very convenient she losing by her own move. Rob gave it a 5. It's going to end up balancing out to a 6. Yeah, so that is where it will go. Next up, we have Undertaker versus Mark Henry in a casket match. Honestly, disappointing match. Yeah, this is a disappointing match. Really, the ending's the only good part. Mark Henry just doesn't sell. Him and Taker have no chemistry. Lots of slow movements. Very physical moves, which were nice, but Undertaker really sells for Mark Henry being the powerhouse, but it really isn't until the end that Mark Henry gives him anything in return. I mean, it's just really it's not even a one-sided affair because Undertaker has offense that he does, but Henry just doesn't sell it. So it's like, huge tombstone to the big man, which again, if you think back to his early matches against like King Kong Bundy and stuff, he couldn't do this type of stuff to bigger men. So it was a testament to the strength of Taker as well as the athleticism of Mark Henry to be able to kind of hold himself up there, something King Kong Bundy couldn't do. I gave this match a 4 to 10, even though that suicide dive over the casket is definitely iconic and you see it all the time. The match itself was a 4 out of 10. Rob actually agrees with me and gave this match a 4 out of 10 as well. So as much as I love The Undertaker, as much as I honestly really like Mark Henry, they didn't do magic in this match, so I gave it a 4. Next up, we have Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon in a no holds barred match. Another HBK banger. Doesn't matter who he's in the ring with, he produces bangers. Easily the best Vince match of the entire WrestleMania review. Shawn Michaels overcoming the odds to beat Shane, the Spirit Squad, what's up Kenny, Vince himself. It's nice to see Vince get his ass kicked for 70% of this match, which is a much better rate than the match he has against Bret Hart much later that I actually just recently watched at the time of reviewing this. That match was trash, but we'll get to that much later. Shawn's setting the furniture was fun, but it dragged out a bit too long. He beat the shit out of Vince. You could tell he was setting up for a lot of great offense, and he was really kind of trying to like hype the crowd up with the suspense, but from someone who knew the outcome of the match, knowing Shawn was going to win, because I remember this match, it's really hard to get into it. I tried to go into this with the mindset of someone who's never seen it before, and even then, I struggled to get into it, because it was just like, it took so long to get the shit in, and it took so long for him to hit the move. When he hit the move, phenomenal. That elbow off the huge ass ladder with Vince McMahon with the trash can draped over top of him was pristine. It was so fucking good. It's so powerful looking. Vince McMahon sold it perfectly. Somehow didn't get fucked up in the process. This match is easily an A if it doesn't take so long to set up that ending. So I gave this match an 8 out of 10. Rob gave this match a B, so at 8 is where it is going to end up going. Which again, not a bad spot for this match at all. Next up, we have Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton versus Kurt Angle, who is the champion going in for the World Heavyweight title. Rey Mysterio would win. This is his dedication to Eddie Guerrero match. I don't know if they gave him this match because of Eddie, and they wanted to kind of sort of keep Eddie in the event by letting his best friend win, but I thought it was very nice. I thought it was a great measure. And this match was a banger. It was absolutely fantastic. In my opinion, it was easily trending to an A, and then it ended. They gave this match less than 10 minutes, which is crazy for a title match. But they gave us less than 10 minutes. Heel Randy was doing heel things. Kurt Angle was phenomenal as always. Rey Mysterio was in his prime. You could tell the spirit of Eddie was carrying that man through the air with how much lift time he got on some of his moves. He did botch one, and even though he still salvaged it, made it a good looking move. I thought it was a great ending with Rey winning. His moment with Chavo and Vicky, such a heartwarming moment at the end. I feel like they gave this match like a total of like 15 minutes, and a good 4.5 of it was spent at the end, so maybe that's why the match itself was shorter, so he could do that celebration with the fans, celebrating with his family, celebrating with Vicky and Chavo. Maybe that's why the match was shorter, but yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Again, you add 5 minutes to this match, and it's an A. Easily, without a shadow of a doubt, an A. But it's an 8 out of 10 for me. Rob agrees, high B. So we have another 8 out of 10 banger of a match on this card. But all good things must come to an end. And with that, we have the Playboy pillow fight between Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle. Is there like a contractual obligation to just fucking ruin these WrestleManias with absolutely pointless trash before a main event? It happens almost every single WrestleMania, it seems, where you have a great main event, and then you have the bathroom break match, and then you have the another main event. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I really don't. But this match has no point. It's not good. They don't even... Like... Damn. How horny was wrestling in the early 2000s? Late 2000s at this point. I don't know. I'm watching for the wrestling. Not to jerk off. Do that in my private time. Not while I'm watching WrestleMania. 1 out of 10. Rob disagrees. Rob gave us a D+. I'd love to know fucking how. I can only assume his girlfriend wasn't home. And that's why he enjoyed this match. No. You're getting a 2. Go to a 2. He's gonna watch this and be pissed. But no, this match wasn't good. This match wasn't good at all. I don't know how he gave us a 3. I really don't. But hey, maybe he saw something I didn't. Maybe I'm being overly judgmental. I don't know. But this match wasn't good for me at all. Next up, we have John Cena versus Triple H. The introduction of the King of Kings theme by Triple H. My personal favorite theme song that he uses. I absolutely love that song. I bump it personally, like it's on my liked playlist. I listen to that song unironically. It is a banger. I love it. I've loved it since this event, honestly. Cena entered with the Chicago gangster themed entrance, which was pretty cool. It was in Chicago, so it makes sense. Crowd was super into this match. But I'm not sure if it helps or hurt it, because this crowd is extremely split. You have Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks. We're in that era, okay? We're in that era where you either love John Cena or you fucking hated him, and there was no in between. I was on the love Cena train. I loved John Cena growing up until I got a little bit older, and then I started not liking John Cena anymore. For the reasons everyone stopped liking John Cena. You knew he was going to win every match, and it got tiring to watch. But this match, I don't know. It was like you could tell they were into it, and then they would stop and listen to the crowd, and it was like they weren't expecting the reaction themselves. And I felt bad for Triple H because it wasn't like a "Let's go Triple H" or Triple H or nothing like that. It was "Let's go Cena. Cena sucks." So it wasn't really pro Triple H. It was just anti Cena. And as a wrestler, a performer, I don't know how you can really get into that. Like, oh yeah, they're hoping I win, but it's because they don't like the other guy, not because they like me, you know? And it's odd. It's a really odd thing. It really stayed like that the entire match. The match is odd as it goes from lots of great action to slow and methodical to heavy hitting, back and forth, back to wrestling recovery, the ref bump, crazy sledgehammer hit, more back and forth flurry of finishers, near falls. Cena finally hits the STFU for what I think is the 3rd time that he hits it. He finally gets Triple H to tap out. When this match is hot, it is fucking hot. It is great. It is fantastic what these two do. But there are definitely periods of rest that I felt like went on a little bit too long. The crowd kept the flames burning. The cold spots are cold, but not enough to ruin the match entirely. Mostly because the crowd is still hot even when they're doing rest holds. I gave this match an 8 out of 10. Rob agrees, gave it a B. That's going to be an 8 as well. So we have a relatively decent card here, but let's find out exactly what it gets. This match is going to, or this WrestleMania rather, is going to get a 5.91 average. So, again, definitely C+ card overall. Very good. A couple of stinkers, man. And again, you just take it'd be one thing if it's entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, if this stuff was entertaining, it would be a completely different thing. Like, eventually we're going to get to the Floyd Mayweather Big Show match. The match isn't good, but it's entertaining. And that's the difference between this and what we get in some later matches. The most recent WrestleMania, the Snoop Dogg stuff. It's not good, but it's entertaining. So I enjoy it. This just wasn't. So, yeah, that's where it is. 5.91. And I will see you guys for WrestleMania 23 tomorrow. Peace, guys.